Why more scooters make each scooter worth more? This one's a doozy. Quote, riders tend to gravitate to micromobility operators with the most citywide vehicles available, enabling Lime to become a preferred choice for shared micromobility in numerous cities where we operate. Lime might be the only marketplace I've ever written about where adding supply makes each unit of supply more valuable instead of less. So in most marketplaces, it works the other way. One more Uber driver in like a sleepy market just means everybody idles longer between fares. It's better for the demand side, but for the supply side, it's not as great. So the opposite is true for Lime. For context, in 2025, they grew the average operational fleet 18%, almost all of it in cities they were already operating in. By the normal rules, dropping 18% more supply or scooters into the same cities should thin out the rides per scooter and pull revenue per vehicle down. Remember, they measured on that. However, revenue per vehicle per day went up 10%. Monthly active users went up 21%. Revenue went up 29%. What a rider is actually paying for is reliability. The first time you open the app and the nearest Lime is a 6-minute walk away, you don't do it. You don't make the walk because you'd be halfway to your destination already. So you call an Uber or you take your car or you just stop opening the app. Scooter density is the fix. If you put enough vehicles in a city, there's a real chance one is sitting on your corner, so more people ride, and they ride more often, and each scooter gets more use, even though there are more of them. This drives the 10% RVD bump that we showed in the financials, and it also explains a marketing number that, like I said, I didn't believe at first, that Lime spent less than 2% of revenue on marketing last year. Like, if you think about how much Uber spent on marketing, if you think about how much Lyft spent on marketing, but the scooters themselves serve as billboards so they don't have to buy them. What is Lime really competing against? Yes, I mean, they are competing against like Bird and the other scooters, but they're really competing against the car because most urban car trips run under 5 miles if you're in the city with one person in the seat, which is the exact trip the scooter is built to take, or a bike. People only give up the car if the scooter or bike is reliably there, and the reliability comes from that density, which comes from supply. I think you see the connection I'm trying to hammer home here. So more scooters is better. And there's another version of this network effect on the data side, right? So more vehicles across more cities means more trips, which sharpens the read on where the demand shows up by hour and by block, which puts scooters where the riders will be. It'll tell people to move them there and tell the workers to move them. They can weigh the cost of moving a scooter to and from locations versus the expected revenue per rider they'll get where it currently sits. You don't want to move a scooter if it will cost more than what you can gain, right? It also impacts how Lime wins new cities. A city that wants micromobility will run an RFP. They'll say, hey, come one, come all if you want this business. And the operator currently running 230 cities with a pretty clean track record looks like a lower risk tech. Lime says it wins about 90% of those bids and renews existing permits above 95%. Every win shuts a competitor out of that city completely. So the same scale that pulls in riders also shrinks the field that Lime is bidding against. This whole equation rests on Lime's ability to keep buying scooters. You keep buying them, got to keep fixing them. If you cut CapEx and reliability slips, the riders will drift back to their cars and this whole loop collapse, this whole virtuous cycle collapse. And that's why the turnaround needed to come first to get to this point, and why the operational excellence needs to keep improving to keep both the on P&L and off P&L forces spinning. So how the hell does a scooter pay for itself? Lime makes money in an incredibly straightforward way. I'm so happy because SpaceX almost broke my brain. You unlock a scooter, the meter runs, you end the ride, you pay. There's an unlock fee of around $1 per time that you take it out, and then a charge for every minute that you're on it. And there are two ways to pay. In 2025, 72% of revenue came from pay as you go, and 28% came from Lime Pass and Lime Prime, which are the bundle and subscription plans. So a year earlier, that split was 80-20. So the recurring side is taking share fast as people increase their riding habits. Pay as you go is the tourist on the boardwalk and the first timer who downloaded the app on the sidewalk 10 seconds ago. It's also how riders coming through Uber's app pay, and that channel is meaningful, 14% of Lime's revenue last year. That's how they use it. Lime Pass is where the regulars live. They are commuters. Say you're in an apartment in Boston that's 2 miles away from the hospital you work at, you can use the Lime scooter every day. You buy a block of minutes at a discount, you use them or lose them inside 1 to 30 days, or you pay monthly for Lime Prime and unlock as many rides as you want. And so the reason that Wayne, the CEO, cares about pushing people into that bucket is their frequency. These riders take roughly 6 times as many trips as pay-as-you-go riders, and the mix shift from 20 to 28 is a big part of what pulled RVD up 10% year on year. Maybe the first thought you had when you started a tech company wasn't about scenario modeling or runway management or the fine print of an S1. I love a good S1. That's not where the magic happens. It's more fun to build something new, design your quarter zip, or network with VCs. But what if you got your financials right early, long before your investors started asking for it? There's no limit to how far you can go and how many headaches you could stave off. Now, that's where EY comes in. EY has been a part of Silicon Valley since, well, it was just a valley. And it's helped some of the most successful names in tech go from startup to exit to mega cap. You build the next big thing, and with the teams across strategy, tax, audit, and transactions, EY will help you build your next big thing right. Learn more at ey.com/tech startups. That's ey.com/tech startups.